We are kicking off today with the WWE Hall of Fame, as during this week's Smackdown, a massive change was made to this year's class. WWE dropped the bombshell that the Hall of Fame will now feature specific moments and matches, which will be referred to as Immortal Moments. The first inductee, none other than the iconic WrestleMania 13 match between Bret Hart and Steve Austin, and it was confirmed that both legends will be inducted. This induction will make Hart the first ever three-time inductee, who was previously inducted for his singles work in 2006 and as part of the Hart Foundation in 2019. This will be the second induction for the Texas Rattlesnake, who headlined the class in his native Texas in 2009, and now we know more about the Immortal Moments induction. According to the Wrestling Observer's Daily Update, WWE is borrowing the concept from their TKO partners in the UFC, whose Hall of Fame is overseen by Ant Evans. When Evans took over a few years ago, he sought to make the Hall of Fame credible after the induction of Stephen Bonner, a two-time drug cheat who lost most of his significant fights. Wanting to rebuild credibility again, Evans had the idea to induct specific legendary fights, and now WWE is following suit with this update to its Hall of Fame. This change has come as a major shock to fans, with some speculating that it was done to boost ticket sales for this year's Hall of Fame, which reportedly have been struggling. Last week, WrestleVotes reported that the ticket sales have not been great, and that tickets are proving to be expensive coming out of the jump, as fans can't get in for under $300. Despite speculation, though, WrestleVotes reports in an update that WWE inducting the Austin Hart match has been the plan all along, and not a change due to ticket sales. Alongside this match, Triple H, Michelle McCool, Lex Luger, and the Natural Disasters will be inducted this year, and now fans will get to hear from the Hitman and the Rattlesnake. Do you like the Immortal Matches induction idea? What matches and moments would you like to see get inducted into the Hall of Fame? Share your thoughts down in the comments. One name fans will no doubt see inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame one day is The Rock, though a scary incident kept the final boss from making an appearance this week. Away from WWE, The Rock is a co-owner of the UFL, but on social media this week shared that an issue with his plane kept him from making it to Texas for the league's Season 2 kickoff. Rock was super bummed to miss the kickoff, but was grateful that the pilot was able to land the plane safely and wished those in attendance a great opening weekend. In a video filmed back home in Hawaii, The Rock said that he was supposed to be hyping up the crowd in Houston, Texas, and had a slight botch as he referred to the league as UFC. We can only assume that this error was because The Rock was still rattled, and he apologized to the players, staff, coaches, and everybody for not being able to be at the kickoff in person. The Rock recalled the pilot telling him that there was an issue with the hydraulics and the plane was overheating, and the onboard computer made clear that they needed to get back to land as soon as possible. The UFL was created by merging the XFL and USFL, and the fact that it's had a second season already makes it more successful than the league Vince McMahon first launched in 2000. Hopefully The Rock can avoid any similar incidents, and what do you make of this story? Share your thoughts down in our comments section. Over to Smackdown now, as the excitement inside London's O2 Arena began building long before this week's episode went on air. In a rematch from the Royal Rumble, DIY squared off against the Motor City Machine Guns, and this time it was the Guns who got the win. The rivalry between these two teams has been brewing for months and saw a 2 out of 3 falls match at the Rumble, where DIY got the win thanks to the interference of the Street Profits. While that match was for the WWE Tag Team titles, neither DIY nor the Guns held the gold now, and we'll have to see if this off-air win can catapult Sabin and Shelley back into the title picture. After the dark match, SmackDown opened with shots of the O2 Arena in London before transitioning inside to showcase the crowd and a few superstars arriving backstage. Cody Rhodes then made his way out to officially kick things off, though it was nearly 10 minutes before he said anything, as the fans were chanting and singing his theme song. Rhodes barely had a chance to discuss his match against John Cena before Randy Orton joined him, and as expected, the UK crowd also sang along to Orton's song. The Viper shared his pride and admiration for Rhodes' efforts and even made reference to Cody leaving WWE and changing the wrestling business, a not-so-subtle nod to AEW. Orton acknowledged that he would eventually want a title shot, but assured Rhodes he wouldn't resort to a low blow like John Cena did at Elimination Chamber Toronto. Instead, he promised to challenge him face-to-face when the time came, and this brought out Drew McIntyre, who made his own case to be the one to dethrone Cody as champion. Despite the star power involved, the segment felt underwhelming as it recapped past events and previewed what was already expected by the fans. Having Orton confirm that he plans to become a 15-time WWE World Champion was a nice touch, given the history with Cody, but it was hardly something fans hadn't already predicted. McIntyre was sent out of the ring by Rhodes and Orton to close the segment, and it was later confirmed that McIntyre and Orton would face each other later on in the show. At less than 10 minutes, this was one of the shortest matches between McIntyre and Orton, and it was Kevin Owens' interference that turned the tide. His distraction allowed for McIntyre to hit the Claymore to get the win, and post-match, Owens attempted a ringside assault, but Orton turned the tables, forcing KO to retreat. Orton and McIntyre always have great chemistry in the ring, and with a few more minutes, this enjoyable match could have been taken to a serious next level. Having McIntyre get the win over Orton was a bold decision, and why did WWE have Drew get the win over the 14-time world champion? For one, an argument could be made that McIntyre needed the win more to build momentum ahead of WrestleMania and his inevitable showdown with Damian Priest. Also, having McIntyre get the win in the manner he did only helped build to Orton's match with Kevin Owens, and fans can expect the pair to tear each other apart next month in Las Vegas. Backstage, Drew McIntyre and singer Lewis Capaldi were set to go out for a few drinks to celebrate his win, but the Scottish Warrior was then interviewed by Jackie Redmond. Asked about the match and the drama that unfolded, Drew said he didn't care about other people's business and claimed that when no one gets involved in his, he wins. Referencing the lack of Damian Priest on the show, Drew said that Priest doesn't have the balls to show up, which was quickly proven wrong as the Archer of Infamy attacked him. After throwing a local worker through a table, Priest would hit the South of Heaven onto McIntyre through the window of the car, sending a message to his fierce rival. Priest also clawed into McIntyre's eyes and asked if there were any more jokes, and the man Drew has branded as the Temu Undertaker told McIntyre to rest in peace. CM Punk walked past and seemed pleased to see McIntyre in pain on the glass, and on Twitter, McIntyre said that real glass got in his eye, a nod to the comment from Jack Perry at All In 2023. That comment would result in CM Punk fighting Perry backstage, prompting Tony Khan to fire him, but Punk was in a good mood this week as he made his way out for a contract signing. The London crowd sang for Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins, and Punk kept his comments brief while Reigns directed him to a specific clause in the WrestleMania 41 match contract. Paul Heyman then revealed that this triple threat match will be the main event of WrestleMania Night 1, giving Punk his first ever headline match at the showcase of the Immortals. There were tears in the eyes of CM Punk and anger in the eyes of Seth Rollins, while Reigns was in between the two and relished in claiming that he made this happen. Reigns demanded that Punk acknowledge and thank him for securing his first WrestleMania main event, and Punk dropped to one knee and sarcastically thanked the OTC. Reigns believed that getting Punk the main event meant that Paul Heyman no longer owed the best in the world a favor, but Punk made clear that he is still owed something from Paul. It remains to be seen what the favor actually ends up being, and we have to suspect that whatever Heyman owes CM Punk, it'll be revealed at WrestleMania 41. This segment felt like a segment worthy of a WrestleMania main event, and who would you have win this April to close out Night 1? Share your thoughts down in the comments section below. There was another smoky tease for the person believed to be Aleister Black, and on Smackdown, a blurry image of the person was seen in the video. While their face wasn't shown, what the person wore was akin to what fans would expect Black would be wearing, and it wasn't all fans got to see. There was a snipper of a candle being blown out, as well as an up-close shot of a snake, and Roman numerals were being shown and bearing the numbers 4 and 25. The 25th of April will fall on a Friday and will be the first Smackdown after WrestleMania 41, and are you excited for the big reveal? Could this be someone other than Black? Let us know below. A far less cryptic tease also aired on SmackDown, confirming that Rey Fenix is coming and will make his official WWE debut on SmackDown next week. The video confirmed that Rey Fenix will keep his full name in WWE, and commentary wasted no time in making reference to him being one half of the Lucha Bros alongside Penta. Clearly, the possibility of uniting with Penta remains an option, but for now, Fenix will be working on SmackDown, while Penta continues to impress on Monday Night Raw. But why is WWE choosing to keep the pair apart? Well, for one reason, WWE does not need another tag team right now and don't want to risk the Lucha Bros being lost in the shuffle. It's also possible that WWE believe having Penta go from being a single star on the cusp of the Intercontinental title to being a tag team guy would be a relegation for the Masked Star. Penta has certainly been a hit since his arrival as a single star, and his momentum could be swiftly harmed if he were to abruptly be moved to the tag team division. With that said, it's likely WWE is just waiting for the right time to bring Penta and Rey Fenix face to face, but as for when that time will be, that remains to be seen. Do you think having the pair be separate is the right call, or should WWE waste no time in reuniting the Lucha Bros? Let us know down below. After assisting Braun Strowman last week, LA Knight found himself facing the Monster Among Men for the United States Championship during Smackdown. From the start, the megastar struggled against Strowman's overwhelming power and had to adjust his strategy, and Strowman appeared to have things under control after an ad break. That was until Jacob Fatu interfered, causing a disqualification in a spot that mirrored the finish of Fatu's match last week against Strowman. While DQ finishes can sometimes advance a story, WWE has relied on them too frequently in 2025, and Fatu could have cost Braun the match that didn't involve the disqualification finish. Fatu would also attack Knight, but as Braun was attacked first, he was the winner of this match, but it's clear that Fatu is now ready for a spot in the United States title picture. Backstage, Solo Sikoa wasn't happy with Fatu going in by himself, but Fatu said he was going to do this either with Solo or without the former self-proclaimed tribal chief. Once again, tensions began to build in the new bloodline, and while a feud between the two seems inevitable, time will tell if that program starts before or after WrestleMania. We've got news from TNA Wrestling now, and if you don't want to be spoiled about upcoming episodes, including a major title feud, we'd advise skipping the next 90 seconds of the video. During the latest tapings, Jade made another appearance for TNA, and the former NXT Women's Tag Team Champion didn't come alone. After previously vowing to return with some friends, Jade did just that as she arrived alongside Jasmine Nix and Fallon Henley of Fatal Influence. The trio appeared on the stage and had their own graphics shown, and fans will have to wait for the actual show to air to see what the NXT trio got up to. It wasn't just Fatal Influence who crossed the line, however, as during the tapings, Ethan Page made his return to TNA, now as a fully fledged NXT superstar. In his segment, Page confronted Frankie Kazarian, who tried to cash in his Call Your Shot opportunity, similar to WWE's Money in the Bank contract. Kazarian wanted a match with World Champion Joe Hendry at Rebellion, but Page shut that down, revealing that he already has a title match against Hendry Line. TNA management then made it official, confirming that Page and Kazarian will face Hendry for the gold at the upcoming event in a triple threat match. Hendry and Page have a history, as it was last year that the Scottish star tried to win the NXT title from Page, but was ultimately unsuccessful. Now the shoe is on the other foot, as Page has everything to win and nothing to lose, though we imagine neither Hendry nor Kazarian will make things easy for all ego at Rebellion. Back to Smackdown, and in our first match in London, Elton Prince and Kit Wilson entered in Union Jack-themed gear for their title match against Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. This was a competitive encounter featuring plenty of double-team moments, and while Pretty Deadly had the home field advantage, the result was never in any real doubt. The Profits had just won the titles recently, and cutting their reign short after years of chasing gold would have been an odd booking decision. In the end, Ford and Dawkins secured the victory with a doomsday blockbuster, retaining their titles, and this was perhaps the most heelish the Profits have been acting so far. To be fair, the team likely knew that the UK crowd would be behind Pretty Deadly, and we'll have to see if they go back to being tweeners when back in the United States. A backstage segment saw Zelina Vega align with Kayden Carter and Katana Chance, giving Vega some allies to take on Chelsea Green and a Secret Harvest. In their first televised tag match in months, Carter and Chance faced Piper Niven and Alba Fyre, and despite an early flurry by Fyre, Carter and Chance took control with their double-team work. While Niven's power made her the dominant force whenever she was legal, Carter surprised the crowd with a strong Samoan drop that nearly ended the match. The Secret Harvest would ultimately get the win, and they, alongside Green, would launch a post-match attack that would be interrupted by Vega. Despite their best efforts, Vega would fall to Green and her allies, and it was somewhat awkward seeing Zelina try to rally the fans, who was firmly behind the Women's US Champion. Given how much the UK crowd was behind Chelsea, it was hardly a bad idea for her to be left standing tall, while Zelina can get her heat back in a future episode. There was an impressive video package detailing Naomi's heel turn, and with tears streaming down her face, Naomi said how Bianca Belair had replaced her in WWE. Naomi spoke about how it was she who was inspired for a long time, but is now finished with being underappreciated by everyone. Naomi ended by telling those wanting to cross her to proceed with caution, a fitting new line to this side of her, and a line that matches her new attire. Michin was set for a match, but Naomi ambushed her from behind during her entrance, and Naomi was attacked by B-Fab, who was accompanying Michin. Naomi attacked the pair seemingly just because they were seen speaking with Jade Cargill earlier in the show, showing the newfound mean streak of the Glow. Jade Cargill ran down to drive Naomi away and help B-Fab backstage, and Charlotte Flair would make her entrance, ready to face Michin as planned. There was a face-off at the entranceway between Jade and Charlotte, seemingly planting seeds for a feud that was first teased on Smackdown shortly after Jade arrived in WWE. Despite the attack, Michin insisted she could still compete, but Flair nearly pinned her immediately before the show went to a break. Flair worked to capitalize on Naomi's attack, but Michin fought back, and this match would hit its stride in the final moments before Flair got the win with the figure 8. After a backstage segment earlier in the show, Jimmy Uso challenged The Miz to a singles match, and it was odd that The Miz wasn't accompanied by Carmelo Hayes given their alliance. Jimmy dominated early, sending Miz over the barricade into the timekeeper's area before a commercial break, though Miz briefly regained control when the show resumed. Uso got the win with an Uso splash, giving him some fire ahead of his non-title match with World Heavyweight Champion Gunther on next week's Raw from London. And that was this week's edition of Smackdown, and what did you make of the show? Share your thoughts on the episode down in the comments section below. At next month's Bloodsport 13 event, several WWE superstars will be in action, and we now know that Pete Dunne will be taking on Timothy Thatcher. This news was confirmed by Josh Barnett, and we'll have to see how the Bruiserweight fares in what will be his Bloodsport debut. And we're ending today with Brock Lesnar, and while questions remain about his WWE future, the Beast Incarnate was recently spotted in public with his daughter Maya. Maya was purchasing something at a store as Lesnar watched on, and you certainly wouldn't want to mess with either Lesnar in this store. Maya has been breaking records in the worlds of athletics, while Brock's success is no secret, though for now his career remains in limbo due to being tied to the Janelle Grant lawsuit. Brock Lesnar isn't expected in WWE until after the lawsuit at the very least, and may not be back at all, but the Beast is keeping himself busy with his family outside of the ring.